Today, I'm so excited to share my experience with you of playing Pokemon Sword with only shiny Unova Pokemon or shiny Unova Galarian form Pokemon. It was so much fun to play. We're gonna go over a lot of the key points, a lot of epic battles. We're gonna also go over some of my opinions on this generation, and then we're gonna go into a little bit more behind the scenes. So it's gonna be a fun video. It's over an hour. Well, not over, but it's basically an hour. So I'll try to have, to my best of my ability, I'll try to make some really good chapters so you guys could like pinpoint where to go. If you want a recommendation, I suggest going to the very end. Like those are where the battles get the most intense, and I have just a lot of more. I have a lot of more opinions to say about the matter, but let's just jump right into it. All right, as you guys could tell, I'm not doing live commentary. I'm just gonna be commenting on all of the footage that I've already recorded, and yeah, we've already started. So basically we started at our house, and then our rival Hop was like, hey, let's go to the train station, let's go meet my brother. We were like, okay, cool. Who's your brother? We probably don't know yet. We end up finding out that he is related to Leon, the Galarian champion, the unbeatable champion, and that's a huge shock to us. I remember that was being a huge shock to me when I first had played this game. But when we go back to his house, we end up having food. We also end up picking our Pokemon starter. Of course, we're not going to use the starter. We just have to because we're forced to. But I end up going with the water Pokemon because I have a water Pokemon in my team we're going to use for this save. So we end up beating Hop pretty easily, as you guys saw. We end up going to the Slumbering Woods because I believe we lost a Pokemon. Can't remember too well, but we have to go through this forest. And then eventually there's just so much fog. We're like, what's going on? And then the legendary Pokemon, the box art legendary Pokemon, shows up in our right in front of us, and then we can't attack the Pokemon for some reason. We have to eventually get faded out by this legendary Pokemon, which is such a savage, by the way. I can't believe we actually we fully got knocked out. Imagine that. But yeah, Leon was like, hey, you remember that Pokemon you guys lost? I actually found it. And we're like, bruh. All right, we go back to our mom, telling her that we're gonna go to a nearby city with our new friend Leon and our rival slash friend Hop, and then we meet the what's her name, Magnolia's daughter, so the professor's daughter, I believe, or granddaughter, I'm not too sure. But once we get access to the Pokemon Center, we finally get to take all the shiny Pokemon I shiny hunted for like a long time, and then we just import them into our team. But I know this is probably a little bit too easy, but I didn't really want to shiny hunt for them because I can't be bothered to like comment on it while doing it. I feel like that's way too much work. But yeah, even though I did shiny hunt all of it, we have to I still want to restrict myself a little bit. So we're gonna end up going by the moveset we're given until like the very end, which is what I'll show you guys when. But so right now we end up going to the actual professor's house. We get introduced. We also get another Pokemon fight, another Pokemon battle with Hop. We end up winning, of course. We also get a letter of basically a letter saying that we're able to officially join the Galar gym challenge, which I think is such an interesting thought, such an interesting take on the Pokemon challenges in different regions, because most of the time anybody can just go, like literally anyone can just go. But I like this more official feel, like you have to officially get a letter of someone either they have to be officially like in the gym area, like you have to be a gym leader, or you have to be the champion, or you can also get it from like a professor or like somebody that's actually on like somebody that has power or say. That's pretty interesting to me. We end up going to the big city, as you guys saw, I think Motostoke. We end up going to stay at a hotel. We have our first encounter with the Team Yell. I don't think it's the traditional bad guy team, but I don't know. People said that it's very boring, but I think it's intentionally not supposed to be like it's just supposed to be like a fun little nod to what's usually very traditional in a Pokemon Sword, in a Pokemon generational game, because I don't think this is a team we're supposed to take seriously. But yeah, we end up defeating the Team Yell. We end up finding out they're just a group of stands that love Marnie, so that's pretty cool, I guess. We end up going to the stadium, and I think this moment is always so great about this game, where you enter a humongous stadium with people let me tell you, we're gonna go into a little bit more depth about the music, the soundtrack, the sounds, basically audio from Pokemon Generation 8, because it's a lot. But I really like the designs for every single one of these characters, except for probably Gordy and his mom, because they really, I don't know, they really couldn't find a good they just couldn't find good options for them. But everyone else feels like very in tune. So we have the model, and I'm assuming she's also a swimmer, Nessa. We also have Raihan, a very cocky and friendly type of person. I just think that they have a very good personality, even if we don't really get to interact with them that much, but they have a sense of like character. And yeah, I really like that about them. We end up fighting Hop one more time. This is not going to be our last time. And by the way, if you guys actually want to see the full fights, I have another video. It's 2 hours long. So that's what I mean. I don't want to be commenting on this game for 2 hours. I just had to think about how I was going to do this, because I see other YouTubers do this, but I'm like, how do they condense so much into like such a small video, like 15 minutes? I don't know how they do it. I feel like if I cut so much stuff out, it just feels like you cut so much stuff out. You feel like you're being left out, or like you don't get the full picture. But if you want to see the actual battles between all of my rivals and gym leaders, I didn't put the first half, like the very first gym leader and the first couple of rival battles, because I don't have audio, which is good for in this case because I have to talk over it. But in that video, how was I, it's going to be audio list, so it'd be pretty boring. But we end up going up against our new rival, which is Bede, or BD, I don't know. But he's pretty annoying, or at least that's what the game wants you to believe. I think he's a pretty cool character, or like fine. I don't really have that much like hate towards him. I think he's fine. But we end up getting hurt by the gym leader, and he's like, oh yeah, my gym leader's down this road. And we were like, oh, okay. But I did want to use Trubbish for this, because obviously he's a poison Pokemon and good against grass. It's very, common to it's a very common way to take down grass Pokemon. And I have to be honest, I can't believe that I didn't notice until recently, but a lot of the gym leaders don't have Gigantamax on some of their Pokemon. So it's very interesting. I think it's only after I think it's just this one, actually. I think it's just this gym leader that doesn't have a Gigantamax, which is interesting. I was like, why is it him? I did when I Gigantamax my entire Darumaka, because he's so cute. Look at him. He's like a snowball. I love this version of Darumaka. I think the Galarian forms are so slept on, because we got Hisuian forms a couple of years later, and those obviously were phenomenal. I love those as much. I love those a lot, but for some reason they're slept on, because people much rather pick Alolan or Hisuian forms. We end up beating the gym leader, which is cool and everything, right? But there was no way we were going to lose that. We end up going again. We go out the gym, go next to the next route. We encounter the doctor, a random doctor we're gonna encounter one more time, and then he says, oh, the team yells bothering me, can you help me out? I'll give you a bike. And we do it, and we get a bike. After that, we encounter another Hop battle. I have to say, Hop is an interesting name. I don't know of anyone that's been called Hop, but interesting. I also have to say, I know a lot of people have the feeling that Hop is very close to How from Alola. And I have to say, I like Hop a little bit better, because he's got a little bit more depth into him. You'll see why later on in the video. But we end up encountering Hop. We beat him. We go through the route. We go to the next town. Then we have to go meet the Chairman Rose. But before that, we have to take on the gym. And then the gym leader's not there. So we got to go find her. We go find her. And now we're able to take down the gym challenge, and then Nessa herself. I have to say, again, the music, it's insane. I'll probably cut a little bit of my recording right here and just show you guys the music. It is impeccable. I love it. It's one of my favorite reasons to continue coming back to play this, but sadly you cannot rematch the gym leaders. You could have the music theme in the background when you're doing those the Pokemon battle. I don't know, the Pokemon Tower version we have in this game, but the energy, you guys, the energy of the crowd, the everything. I love it. I love the gym battle music. It's very good. It's very good. I just don't have I have so much positive stuff to say about it. After defeating Nessa very efficiently, not really. If you want to see the full fight, I actually struggled a lot. You guys can go check that 2-hour video and just like skip around to the Nessa part. I put chapter times because it's a very long video. I'm not suggesting to go watch a 2-hour video because that is insane. But yeah, we end up taking down Nessa. We go back to the place to meet Chairman Rose. I don't know what he's supposed to do. Like, there's not much of a story here, and that's one of my biggest complaints, is that a lot of this feels so superfluous. I just don't see the point of most of the cutscenes because there's not a story. There's not really much of a story, and I just want to get, I want to get with it. I want to get like to the next part. I want to go do another gym battle, do another other stuff. I don't want to be in these cutscenes because he says something about the darkest night. Yeah, and even Sonia the up and coming professor, I guess, the professor's assistant, she's like, I don't know what he's doing. I guess he's trying to help me. I mean, she's confused, but yeah, it's pretty funny. But yeah, as you guys saw, we defeated our other rival, Bede. I'm just gonna call him B because I can't say his name. I don't know how to say it. We also end up encountering Team Yell. We take them down, and then they also get beat up by the fire gym leader. Then we go back to the hotel. We meet up with Marnie again. She wants to fight us one more time before she has to take on the fire gym battle. And I'm like, sure, why not? And a lot of her team is dark type. I mean, she is siblings with the dark type gym leader. Again, very cool that a lot of the gym leaders have a little bit more of a life, but they don't really show it. I guess you just have to like assume because they have a lot of siblings and stuff like that. But yeah, this game does not have that much story, so I can't really like make out, oh, what do these gym leaders do for a living? Even though like you can kind of assume, but that's just me. All right, after defeating Marnie, we go to the fire type gym leader, Kabu, and I think this battle, if I recall correctly, this one went pretty well. I don't think we had any. Oh yeah, this went very well because it was very anticlimactic because Gigantamax is his really cool Pokemon, which and then immediately one shot. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I was gonna say, I'm surprised this Pokemon is not in Generation 9. I really like that Pokemon. They used a lot of the same Pokemon from Generation 8 and Generation 9, and I'm like, I don't know if we should have done that. We should have probably introduced newer ones or like cool ones. I'm not saying a lot of them were cool, but a lot of them felt like filler Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet. But I definitely missed that Pokemon. I definitely missed all of the Galarian forms. I don't understand why they just like, for Alola forms, they introduced them in Generation 8 again, but they didn't do that for Generation 9. So I don't know why they just skipped over Galarian forms. I love my Runerigus. I don't know how to say it. I can't say it. I love that shiny. It pops out a lot. It's really beautiful. We end up going, after defeating the fire type gym leader, we have to go through the wild area, which is why I involved Yamask, and then here we are in the next town, and then we encounter Chairman Rose telling us about energy. I'm like, why do I need to know about energy, sir? I'm just here for a gym battle. Leon tells us to go meet up with Raihan, and then Raihan tells us to go meet up with Sonia. I'm telling you, there's just so much that I don't need to read about this because this is not really gonna impact me or the story because there's not much of a story, Sonia. But we just look at some murals and then we head out. We go to Route 6 and we have to stop Team Yell from bothering a Pokemon, I think. I swear to God, I love this Team Yell. It's so funny. I think they're just there to like mock how ridiculous some evil teams can get, because there's 2 evil teams in this game. So I don't understand. I don't get it. I'm like 100% sure we're not supposed to take them seriously as a real evil team, but yeah, I don't know. But once we get to the next town over, we get another hop battle, which is very fun. I don't think I had a hard time with that one. I think that one went pretty well too. This was one of my favorite gym challenges. It's pretty much like a fun little mini game. I wish you could keep doing it over. Or they just had like a little side mode where you have to like maneuver and try not to touch spiky things. I think that would have been fun. Again, Pokemon Company, you could just like add little mini games into your game as well. I wouldn't mind it. After beating the gym challenge, we have to go against Bia or B, I guess. I don't know. That little Trubbish throwing his toxic spikes is gonna be something I love doing. I love to just throw out toxic spikes. I did have a tough time with this team. So again, if you want to see the full version, I'll link it the card again for the 2-hour video. Just skip to the B part. And she's pretty tough because my team, I think half of it is weak to fighting, and the other half doesn't have any answers for it, at least at this point, because none of them have any good movesets. But we do end up stalling until Machamp doesn't have his Gigantamax form, and then that's when I Dynamax my Gurdier into a bigger form, and then we end up taking out Machamp pretty easily. But he falls to poison, not because of us, but he ends up fainting because of poison, which is very funny. And I think that happens another time. But yeah, it's a struggle. It was a struggle during this first half because, like I said, I wanted to challenge myself a little bit because I didn't have to shiny hunt them while in this actual save. I just shiny hunted them for like in Pokemon Shield on my other Switch, so it was pretty easy. So I thought maybe resisting or limiting myself to only movesets that come organically until the later half will be a little difficult, and it was pretty difficult, to be honest. Like Runerigus had no really good attacks until he had to evolve, which is like almost, I think, until the 4th gym, and that was like pretty bad. But yeah, we took down B pretty easily. We also took down Bead. I don't know how to say their names. Oh my god. We also took him down pretty easily. Actually, no, the fighting gym leader was pretty tough, honestly. But yeah, as you guys saw, the Bead was like, I thought this was what you wanted, Chairman Rose. I was trying to do something right. And of course, obviously destroying public property is not correct. So I guess they banned him from doing the gym challenge entirely, which is pretty intense. Considering he's a kid, I don't know why that was like it was pretty intense, not gonna lie. Sonia is also like, what does this mean? Could this connect back to the murals we saw? I'm like, yes, Sonia, yes, it does. It's very clearly a nod to that. I love this city. Well, after we defeat and arrest the kid, we go on to the next round, and then we're here in this like fairy mushroom village. It's very pretty. It's one of the most prettiest cities I've seen in Pokemon, and it's such a shame there's nothing to do here. There's absolutely nothing to do here. There's only a gym. There's only a gym, and that's it, pretty much. And I don't like this gym challenge. All you have to do is basically fight. We do this again in another gym challenge, which shows how very there was not that much effort put into this game, because the gym challenges are very bland. And she still is challenging me while doing her actual gym battle, which is insane. I find that very insane because she's still asking me questions, and it's gonna affect my stats. But I was recording this hours before the Switch 2 midnight launch, so I was like, I was not fully focused on everything. I just picked the first button because I needed to immediately beat this game so I can start editing, and then I can get in line. And I had so much other stuff to do that I was just trying to get it over with. And so far, I feel like this, I don't recall having a hard time with this gym leader. I think it was pretty easy, but especially since my Trubbish evolved into a Garbodor, that was pretty easy too. It made it very easy. Again, still spamming this toxic spikes because it's a very good way of just decaying the opponent little by little. And then after this battle, we get our Tortuga evolved, and it's gonna be a Carracosta. I'm just gonna call him Bigger Turtle. And then we got our gym badge. Again, after this, we have to go to the wild area. Not to the wild area, but we end up going back to the Motostoke town with, oh, I forgot her name. I forgot her name. The fairy gym leader. And then she's able to take a peek at that kid who just got arrested. And she's like, you know what? He's actually probably the one to take the mantle of being the next fairy gym leader, which I find hilarious. After going to Hammerlock Hills, I end up evolving Darumaka into Darmanitan, and of course he has this hidden ability, which is so much fun because he is absolutely super broken. He is so strong for like a common Pokemon. That is insane to me, and I guess that's why he's not only strong, he is super fast. He literally beat Dragapult. I'm not going to tell you in one moment. We'll get there when we get there. But he defeated Dragapult because he was faster. Dragapult is one of the fastest Pokemon in this entire series. I just can't believe how fast and strong he is. He's very good. I don't know if people use them in competitive Generation 8. But yeah, we have another hot battle. And it will, again, ever since Darmanitan joined the team, it was very easy. Like, we started like defeating everyone. We still have a limited moveset. We have a limited moveset up until now. I think maybe until we defeat all the gym leaders, I believe. Oh no, I think at this point we have our full moveset. I just went back to collecting TMs and TRs and just like, you know, grab a little bit of everything to make sure we have a lot of good coverage on our Pokemon. So we end up going to that route. We go to the next to the next town, and then this is where we're gonna fight. Either in Pokemon Sword, you get the Rock gym leader, and in Pokemon Shield, you get the Ice gym leader. So Rock is a little bit more of a better type, so we definitely got a tougher challenge, but it's not too tough. I feel like both types are pretty weak to a lot of stuff, so it's not that difficult. We end up defeating the gym challenge, which I totally did not look up online to see where to stop and where to like avoid, because it was getting pretty annoying after a while. And then I believe this gym battle didn't go that bad. I think it went pretty easy because we do have a fighting type. We have a fighting type, so I feel like, oh, and then we also have our turtle, who is very strong. Oh, poor Shuckle. No. And then, yeah. Oh, we still haven't evolved Girder. Oh, okay. I thought we already evolved him. Yeah. It went pretty well. I love the music again. The music is so much fun. He also Gigantamaxes his Pokemon. So he Gigantamaxes, then I Gigantamax as well. Well, not Gigantamax. I don't have a Gigantamax Pokemon yet because I believe my Garbodor died in this battle. So I had to, like, obviously, I'm not going to use a revive or potions during the battle. I feel like that's too much. I do it in a rival Pokemon battle because I didn't realize we were going to fight, and then I ended up having to waste the revive. But yeah, it was pretty easy, I believe. We get our rock badge, and then we have to go meet up at a restaurant with Sonia and Hop. And then after that, after eating, we end up going outside to the sauna, and Sonia's going off about the darkest day or the darkest night. I don't remember. The darkest light. I don't remember. And then she's like, yeah, the heroes were two brothers supposedly, and they were really good friends, and maybe you two that are friends could also be heroes. I'm like, what are you talking about? Heroes of what? There is no conflict up until this point. Oh my god, I love this game, how absolutely insane it is. I'm like, what are you talking about? There's no conflict, there's no one to be saving, there is no looming threat, not to me, at least not in my head, or like, we haven't been informed up until this point in the game. But she also wanted to take this opportunity to challenge me and Hop for a battle, because she saw and noticed that Hop was having a hard time after Team Yell insulted him, I think him or his brother, and he was having a pretty tough time. He was like having a bit of philosophical moment about him and growing up as a person, you know. So I feel like that was a little bit more in depth of a character than how is in Alola, because he was pretty much one note. I think Hop has a little bit more emotion in this game, and he's able to like have even if it's a very very small tiny character arc, it's still a character arc. He's still able to like push through his feelings, and you know, he's able to get over that feeling of dread. Oh, my Carracosta survived with 1 HP. And the reason I let them die, and you guys might be saying, why didn't you like switch out? It's because I want to make it a little difficult, for one. And for the second, I also don't want them to be getting a lot of friendship and then having to get those friendship boosts where they can dispel all of the debuffs and they can cure themselves of paralysis, burn, poison. They can also survive off of 1 HP. That's also pretty annoying because it's pretty easy like that. But yeah, that's why I let them faint. But he survived with 1 HP. We beat that gym trainer, and then we go down the route. Then we go to the next town, which is actually instead of like a warehouse type of situation where we meet up Marnie, that she shows us a secret entrance, and then we are fighting again. Here again, she is mostly dark type, and we just keep spamming the same button. I swear to God, I was just like, we need to get this over with. I need to get this challenge complete, and I need to get the film done. I need to get everything edited. I need to go and do other stuff. I need to get prepared for the Switch 2 launch, and I was just not paying attention. Some of the fights, you guys, if you guys go to see that 2-hour-long video, I'm using moves that nobody like. I'm fighting against a flying type, and I'm using fighting type moves to hit it, and that's just because I'm spamming, absolutely spamming the A button, because I need to get this challenge over with, because I was ready to go get my Switch 2, and it was so worth it. I really love the Switch 2. But after defeating Marnie, this is gym challenges, not even a gym challenge. You're walking in a single straight line, fighting Team Yell members, and it's so boring, so boring. But I also find this part very cringy. I don't know, there's just no sound at all. It's absolutely quiet, and we're supposed to believe he's singing some amazing song with amazing vocals. I'm like, this could have been the moment where you introduced a voice actor for at least this cutscene, but they didn't want to. Although I do like the fact that he doesn't Dynamax his Pokemon, and we can't do it either. He also likes, I feel like he has that energy of like a real life singer, where he's like giving a performance or like presenting or like a presentation, because he's always talking into his mic, and he's hyping himself up and hyping his Pokemon up by saying he's gonna beat us with a certain move after he calls it out every other Pokemon from his team. I think it's pretty cool. But again, that guy died from self-inflicted what is it called? What was it? Double Edge. So he also took a lot of damage from that. Then Stunfisk was pretty easy for his poison Pokemon, and I think that's it. Yeah, I love that Stunfisk is his original color palette from the Unova form as the shiny, which is pretty cool, because I didn't notice that was a shiny until I looked it up. It was pretty funny. And then I was like, oh, they're referencing the original Pokemon. We get our Dark Badge. We end up going around to the next route, and that's when we meet Leon, who heard a huge loud sound. He goes to investigate. They don't know what's going on. They think it's Chairman Rose doing something, and the professor is there, and we're like, what? And Sonya's like, what? Why are you out of your chair? I'm like, what, can she not walk? But yeah, they end up telling us, go do your last gym. And this gym challenge again is very boring. All you got to do is literally stay in place. This time you don't even get to walk in a line. You got to stay in place and fight double teams. Although I don't like this gym challenge, I like this gym leader, and the whole concept around having double battles is pretty fun. I think they have it in Generation, yeah, they have it in Generation 9 with the Ghost Trainer, the Ghost Leader, the Ghost Gym Leader. God, I'm having such a hard time talking. But I think it was pretty fun because this time around he is using weather. His whole concept, I guess, around his gym was weather. So it was raining, then it was sunny, and now it's a sandstorm. It's pretty fun. I think it was, it was super easy. This one went down in like 5 minutes. I think this gym leader battle went down so quickly, so incredibly quickly. I Gigantamax my Pokemon finally, and the reason I only do this is because I was again trying to film for my for another video. I was trying to film a clip for another video. I don't remember which one, but I just ended up trying to get a clip of Garbodor Gigantamaxing, but then we end up easily taking him down. No problems there. I think we only lost one Pokemon in that battle, so not really that difficult. I also have to say, pretty cool gym badge for the Dragon one. And now that it's all complete, the story can finally start, I guess, because we head out, and then Sonia is given a lab coat, and she's like, what's all about this? And I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, what is literally going on? What has she done to prove to you that she is worthy of becoming the next professor? And do people just become the next professor like that? Because a professor is for the entire region. I'm like, it seems very sketchy that you just hand over your lab coat and then boom, professor of Galar. All right. After defeating all of our gyms, we are sent on our way to like Route 10, I believe. We go to a train station, and it's all very snowy. I think the graphics look better here than they do in Scarlet and Violet, which is a lot, which is kind of crazy because Scarlet and Violet is a much newer game, but the textures look much more polished for some reason. We end up defeating and going through the entire route. We finally make it to Winden. Winden. And there we see the huge gym where we're going to have all of the important battles, which is pretty intense looking. And I'm very excited. This is my favorite part. The final part. This is the final part, which is probably the most fun I have. This is probably the peak of this game. I love it. The music is insane because they have intense remixes of the original their original versions of their themes, and it's so cool. You can hear the crowd, they're yelling and then they're cheering you on, and then when you Gigantamax your Pokemon or Dynamax your Pokemon, it feels alive. It feels so great. I really love it. It's just a lot of fun to watch just hear and then watch your Pokemon really compete. Like something like, I feel like Galar treats these challenges and the whole gym leader thing as like a sport, an arena where it's worthy of a lot of attention, which is pretty interesting to me. I think it's very cool. And after we defeat all of our Pokemon, she's left down to her ace. And I believe, or I don't know, her ace was probably the little Pikachu clone, but she Gigantamaxes a different Pokemon, and I Gigantamax my Garbodor, obviously, because why not? I know that this isn't technically a Galarian form, but it's a form that comes for Galar, which is kind of like you can pick or choose whether it fits the category or not. But Hop, his theme is crazy. It's such a great theme, and I don't know, it's just such a good feeling to like listen to and then fight one last fight against your rival. It's very fun. He has a very good team in terms of how much different types of Pokemon he has into one team, because I think most of my team are weak to dark types. So like even then I did a bad thing for myself in that department, but we end up taking down his Pokemon pretty easily. Again, Darmanitan is probably the MVP of this run because he is so quick and he's able to U-turn in case something nefarious is about to happen. And then I'm surprised that Conkeldurr lasted that long, and he defeated quite a lot of Pokemon. I think he defeated 3 Pokemon. He Dynamaxes his starter Pokemon, which I'm so disappointed he couldn't Gigantamax, but I guess they wanted to keep that version of these starter Pokemon a secret. I don't know why they didn't just let him Gigantamax. That would have been really crazy to see. Hop loses. He takes it like a champ though, because he has his whole character arc. Again, much more than Hao did in Alola, but it was pretty fun. And then after this point is where the hype starts to derail for a little while because we go back to our hotel. We're getting bombarded by the press, or like paparazzi, even though there's just one person. But yeah, then we're outside waiting for Leon, and then we're like, where's Leon? And then we go outside of the actual hotel and not just our rooms. We meet Olena, I think that's how you would say him. And she's like, oh, the chairman is having a very important discussion with Leon, and I won't let you in because it's locked. And guess what? I have the key. And guess what? I'm gonna give this key to one of my Macrocosmo employees. I believe that's the company's name. And I'm like, if you really didn't want us to go inside, why didn't have to say anything? You didn't have to show up. You didn't have to give the key out to anyone. You just had to like be quiet. And then this is the funniest part. We get to the we get to this point where we're inside the building, but the actual door is like blockaded, I guess, by a bunch of employees. But we're like, there's 4 of them, and I took down 4 all on my own. What's stopping us from just fighting them? And they were all acting like it's a huge deal. I'm like, bro, I cannot be taking this game seriously. I'm like, can we not just skip the cutscenes? But yeah, after we somehow get rid of the 4 indestructible, unbeatable employees, we meet up with Olena again at the very top of the tower, and she is unhinged. You finally get to see some expression on her face, and I really like this character, even though we don't even know anything about her. But just the thought of her being incredibly psychotic is very funny to me, because she just loses it. She like has a huge fit, and she is enraged that we have made it this far. But I'm like, Elena, you didn't have to give the key out, and you didn't have to tell us to go look for them. You didn't have to do any of that. You just had to stay up on that. You know what I mean? She just had to stay in that tower, say nothing, and then all would have been, well, I don't know. We take down our team pretty easily, but this is kind of embarrassing and pretty funny at the same time. I didn't know that her Garbodor, for one, I didn't even know she had a Garbodor. 2, I didn't even know she could Gigantamax her Garbodor. And it is so funny because we both Gigantamaxed their Pokemon at the same time. And she was like so cocky about it. You guys had just see her face. She was like, I'll treat you to something special at the Rose Tower. I'm like, sure, you know what? I was like, show me what you got. And then she pulled out the same Pokemon. I'm like, okay, mine's better though. And then I get knocked out because he's faster because of his ability. And I'm like, dang, that's embarrassing. I did lose. I feel like I won the battle, but I lost a lot of self-confidence in my team, because I'm like, dang, somebody who has the same Pokemon as me and not shiny just beat me and made me look so pathetic. It was so funny to me. But then we end up finding Leon and then Chairman Rose, and then they're like, oh, we were just having a conversation. Everything's normal. And we're like, bruh, all that time, I could have been doing something else. And we end up finding that everything's fine. Cut to the next day, we go to the actual stadium, the main stadium, where we have to defeat all the gym leaders again. And we have to basically defeat the champion if you make it that far. And before anything gets started, we have the gym leader, Beed, challenge us one more time. And we're like, sure, why not? And somehow he was able to talk to the entire audience with no mic. I'm like, how is everyone hearing? Like, isn't there like hundreds of people here? But anyway, he Gigantamaxes his Hatrini. I believe that's the name. It's been a long time since I've actually played this game, because again, I was rushing through this. I Dynamax my Darmanitan, but I don't think it was enough, because surprisingly she has a lot of defense. This Pokemon has tons of defense, and we end up losing Darmanitan, which is very sad because I like seeing his alternate form like on display. It's pretty cool. Then we just end up using Stunfisk. It's very anticlimactic because a fish literally just took down an entire like huge and enormous Pokemon. But yeah, after defeating that guy, we end up challenging Nessa once more, and this time I feel like we were much prepared for her team, because again, when we first fought her, I think we were holding on to the smallest thread of actually winning. And that battle was very tough, I have to say, because we didn't have any good moves. We didn't really level up any of my Pokemon that much, and it was kind of a bad it was all around pretty bad. That Gigantamax form is pretty cool though. I don't know if we have that Pokemon in Generation 9, although I don't think we do actually. I kind of miss it. And we end up taking him down with one shot. Critical hit, Conkeldurr for the win. And Nessa's like, no, I can't believe it, not again. I'm like, well, you probably would have won last time, but this time I for sure won. And then we end up going against B. What happens in the Pokemon universe if you actually do lose a gym leader battle? Like actually with no retries. That would be an interesting. Where do you just like get blacklisted? That'd be interesting. But yeah, B is pretty difficult because again, a lot of my Pokemon are weak to fighting and we don't have a lot of answers to fighting. As you guys saw, we have a lot of non-psychic and non-fairy moves being used on her fighting Pokemon, which is pretty tough. And she Gigantamaxes her Machamp one more time, and I am traumatized from this Pokemon because this Pokemon was taking down my entire team. Like I said, the first battle with this character was pretty tough. I'm not gonna lie. We ended up taking it down no matter what. We tried our best. We won. We end up going against Raihan, which is surprisingly easier than all of the other gym leader battles that we had before. I don't know why it's like that. Sometimes you're really prepared for like one gym leader, and then the other gym leader is like really good against your team. So it's very interesting. Flygon quadruple weakness. It was absolutely destroyed. And then he Gigantamaxes his what's that Pokemon's name again? Duralian Dawn. I don't think that's how you say it, but it looks like the Chairman Rose Tower, which is pretty interesting. He is in Generation 9. He does get a Unova inspired evolution, so that's pretty cool. As a Unova fan, I definitely appreciate it. And then we just, pretty easily, we end up defeating him with our Gigantamax Garbodor. I always like Gigantamaxing my singular only Unova Pokemon I can. And then here we are. We are finally going up against the unbeatable, the incomparable, oh yeah, I totally forgot we do get interrupted. I don't know where I was going with that, but we get interrupted by Chairman Rose, and then he's like, I'm gonna bring down the darkest day and everyone's gonna feel it. And then I'm like, what is going on? Why now? Like, what? I don't know. There is no, I think everybody pretty much collectively agrees there's no reason for any of this to be happening because there is no such thing as a conflict. There was nothing going on. All of this just started happening like a few minutes ago, and I'm very confused even now until like 3 years later after playing these games. I still don't know. I still don't understand why all of this is still happening. There's no real good reason. We have to end up going back to the Slumbering Woods or Slumbering Hollow. I don't know what it's called because Hop has he thinks we can get help from the legendary Pokemon. We're like, sure, we'll go. And then we meet up the legendary Pokemon. Then Sonia's like, are you guys doing drugs? Because there was no Pokemon there. There was absolutely nothing there. And then Hop is like, was that an illusion? I'm like, what were we doing here? What is going on with us? Well, maybe we're all going insane. And then we go farther into the woods where we find a rusted old shield and sword. Could that be a nod to the Pokemon, to this naming Pokemon Sword and Shield? Maybe. And then Olena is outside of the Motostoke area, and she's like, I need your help. Chairman Rose, he could be in danger. He's doing something he shouldn't be doing. I'm like, even Olena doesn't know what you're doing, bruh. I'm like, what is going on right now? What is going on with this entire story? And then Rose is like, I'm just trying to do this because it's for the better good of Galar, and I don't think Leon cares. I'm like, what is going on? What is going on? I'm like, let's just get this over with. He has a steel type team, which I think is very fun, very interesting. And unfortunately, he has very slow Pokemon. I do think steel Pokemon are very slow. And unfortunately, again, Darmanitan is also fire ice, which is the only time I think we've seen that typing happen. So, and because he's so incredibly strong and because he's so incredibly quick, it was pretty much spam A on Fire Punch, and that's pretty much it. Although we did lose to Kling Kling, and then I just ended up taking Conkeldurr out. Then we Dynamax Conkeldurr, I believe, right? Let me see. Is it him? Is it him? Yes, it is. And then it's pretty much a one-shot. Not a one-shot, but it was very easy to defeat this person because fire and then fighting, that's pretty much all you need for this. Then he Gigantamaxes his Pokemon. I don't remember that Pokemon's name. Oh, how do you say that? Copperjaw? Yeah, that Pokemon's in Scarlet and Violet. I definitely remember being attacked by so many of those Pokemon. So I have a lot of traumatic memories from that in Generation 9. And we end up defeating Rose. He's like, well, that was a fun battle. I'm like, is that all you have to say? And then we end up going to the very top floor where we meet Leon fighting Eternatus, and we're like, what is going on? Who is this? We already know it's a legendary, we believe, but we don't know how he was captured or why he was summoned and stuff like that. It was very interesting. And Leon is very I guess slow, we'll say it, because who tries to catch legendary Pokemon with an original Pokeball? And you haven't even put it to sleep. You probably haven't weakened it, because we have to weaken it and make it faint. And then before it actually faints, something else entirely happens. It just becomes even stronger. So I'm like, Leon, did you just throw a Pokeball at the very start of the encounter? I don't know. It's a funny thought. I think he would definitely do that. But then he summons the darkest night, the darkest light, the darkest day. I don't remember. Sorry. I couldn't be bothered to pay attention too much to the story. And then we're like, oh my god, that Pokemon is much scarier now. And he challenges us to a Dynamax raid battle. And then we're like, what's this? I haven't done this. And then, this game is introducing you to its main, or what it wants it to be, its main focus. Even though it's pretty boring, these battles are pretty boring. The Dynamax ones are like pretty, whatever. But Hop is like, we can't attack the Pokemon. Maybe if we pick up our shield and sword, maybe something cool will happen. I'm like, I don't know where this is going. And then the legendary Pokemon show up because they're like connected to the artifacts. I don't know. They end up showing up and they fuse with the shield and the sword and shield, get it? And they become even stronger. And I'm very surprised that this is the only time where I actually do quite a bit of damage. I do so much damage in this Dynamax battle against Eternatus because my Darmanitan is super strong, and what happens in the next few moments is going to show you guys how much damage I did. If you guys go back again into, I don't think I actually have this fight down for the 2-hour video, but I'll just describe what happens, because we start off with the legendaries, and then they're able to allow us to begin and hit Eternatus to knock him out. My Darmanitan, of course, is an ice Pokemon, and he's a Dragon Poison, I believe. Dragon Poison. But we end up losing a lot of life, and then he transforms into his next form, and then he becomes so much more stronger. And we, like you guys saw, we did so much damage. Obviously, we didn't do all of the damage by ourselves, but we did so much damage. It was incredibly insane. And then Hop is like, now throw the Pokeball, catch it. And I'm like, okay, I'll do whatever you say. And I don't know if we used the regular Pokeball. I think we did use a regular Pokeball. But the difference between me and Leon is that I'm the main character, and that's guaranteed. Leon should have definitely used the Master Ball, and we didn't have to have this fight. You know what I mean? But yeah, we end up catching Eternatus, and then I guess everything is going back to normal. Then the legendary Pokemon just like, all right, see ya, bye. And they dip, and then we never see them again, because I definitely did not go back and catch them. Because after I finished this, I was like, dusted off my hands. I'm like, okay, good, got this done with, and now I'm gonna go on to get my Switch 2. And then after this, we end up meeting with Leon for our actual final fight, fully uninterrupted. And then the music is insane here. I really love it. I was actually gonna upload that 2-hour video just for myself, just to like live in the moment once more, because of the music, the Pokemon theme, the crowd, everything is so much cool. And I was like, I'll just probably make it public. Maybe somebody will want to watch it, and it's hopefully, if you guys are interested, you guys can go watch it. But I honestly just go back to like the later half of the battles, and I just like to listen to the music and the crowd and the Pokemon and the sound effects. I think it's super fun. But yeah, this battle kind of was a little difficult. I mean, it should be difficult, but it wasn't too difficult because I think the last time I had a really tough time in a modern Pokemon game was with Pokemon BDSP, Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl with Cynthia, because I thought the whole entire game up until Cynthia was pretty easy. So I was like, I won't even try. And then she defeated me. I had to like try 20 times because I couldn't reset my Pokemon team. I had to like stick with the really weak team I built up. So it was pretty tough. But this Pokemon battle didn't go that bad. I think we did pretty well. Again, if you're really interested in seeing how everything plays out, I have that video up, and you can just skip to the final fight with Leon. It's pretty fun. Again, like I said, Darmanitan super fast, so he took down Dragapult fast and hard. Very cool. I'm so happy and so grateful. Oh wait, could we possibly have Darmanitan with Galarian form in Pokemon Legends ZA? Isn't he in the Pokedex of Pokemon X and Y? I feel like he is. A lot of Generation 5 Pokemon were in there. He ends up calling out Charizard, and then I just basically stall the entire time so he can like lose that form, and then we end up Dynamaxing our Carracosta and defeat him with a rock type move because Fire and Flying is 4 times weak to rock. We get crowned as champion of Galar, and everyone's like, bruh, should have been me. And I'm like, well, no, it's not, because actually I'm really good at this game, but not really. And we're the champion. The champion from Nate is now the champion of Galar. So it was so much fun. I have to say, I had so much fun doing this. And I've been mentioning a lot of my Switch 2, and I have so much more stuff to do. I really want to play Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom. I have not even touched those games, and now I really want to do it with the Switch 2 upgrade. I also want to do another Pokemon Sword, another Pokemon Shiny save. I think it's going to be in Generation 9 this time. I've been thinking about either doing all food related Pokemon or edible Pokemon, or some sort of like other theming. I'm really excited. I want to see how this does, and if you guys are interested in another Shiny save, let me know, and let me know what kind of theme it would be. But yeah, it was so much fun. I had a lot of fun. Generation 8 is definitely not my favorite, but the music is killer. And then like, I don't know, it's at least fun, you know? But yeah, I think this was not the toughest way of playing the game, but it was definitely the most fun. And I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun shiny hunting and then battling. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys check out other videos in the Pokemon playlist and subscribe for more. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.